Hello everybody, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So for this Thursday's video, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Normally I do sort of like a blog style video, but we're sitting down, we're nice and cozy, we're on the sofa for this one, and I actually put up a question box on my Instagram the other day saying, ask me any questions that you want. Personal, fitness, diet tips, anything like that. And I've actually had quite a few questions come through, and they're a good mix of everything as well. So that's what this video is about. It's essentially just a little bit more of a get to know me vibe. Obviously some fitness tips in there as well, as that is where I specialize. But yeah, let's get stuck right in. This video shouldn't be too long, so I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get to know me a little bit better and take some tips and pointers away from it. But like I said, we're getting cozy for this one, sofa vibes, nothing too serious, you know. But first question is, how many times a week do you train? So personally, I train 5 days a week, and I have done that for years and years. I know it's not something that you have to do, or it's not the magic amount that like you have to train this much in order to be in shape. It's not like that at all, actually. It just suits me, right? I love training. It's my escape, okay? Obviously, like when it comes to having hobbies and stuff like that, the gym has always been my hobby. So for me, it's that time where I get some me time outside of work, outside of doing everything else. So I do love training. And honestly, if I could train, I could probably train more if I had the time. But for me, 5 is doable. I run my own business. I can work around my own hours. That's not to say, like, I don't know, in the future, I might have kids. Circumstances will change. I'll more than likely not be able to do 5 sessions a week, but at the minute I do 5. And as of recently, I've actually changed up my training sessions, because I always did basically 3 lower body days, 1 glutes and delts, and 1 upper. Well, I've done that for like the last year since my competition prep, but as of recently, I've actually pulled back to 4 strength sessions and implemented like a HIIT, high rocks, functional training kind of vibe at the weekends, just to change it up a little bit. So I've actually really been enjoying that. It's different for me. It's a different style of training, and I feel like it pushes me out of my comfort zone a little bit more as well. So that's what I've been doing recently. The only reason I focus more on my lower half is because that's the half that, firstly, I want to see more progress in. My upper body cuts through like crazy, always has done. So I've always been like more dominant in around my delts, my shoulders, that sort of thing. So I don't need to be focusing that much on my upper body, you know, but also I don't enjoy training it that much. So yeah, legs is my main sort of focus. So at the minute, what I'm doing is 2 lowers, 2 like full lower bodies, 1 glutes and delts, and 1 upper, and 1 functional class a week. Next question, what made you move to Dubai? And honestly, this one's a little bit of a I don't know answer kind of vibe. I don't know why Dubai. I don't know why this is the place that I felt really settled in, but it did. And basically, so I went traveling back at the end of 2023. I went to Bali, and I loved it, and I thought I was going to go back to Bali. I sort of took the year of 2024 to be hopping around the world, which I'm very grateful for. It was the best experience I ever did, best year of my life to date, and I always talk about it. I loved it. I was literally everywhere. I went, obviously I was in Bali, so I was in Indonesia, I came to Dubai, I went to Spain, I went to Malta. Where else did I go? I feel like there was a lot more than that. I done quite a few solo trips that year, which was very good. I was in and out sort of like in the UK. I then came back to Dubai for a second time, and the second time round I was on prep. So with me being on prep, it meant that I couldn't really go and enjoy myself and live the social life or anything like that. And I loved it. I loved how much time I spent on my own. I sort of loved the environment. It suited me perfectly in terms of like my goals. I loved the lifestyle. And a funny story actually, so the first time I came to Dubai, I came for 6 weeks. Just as a holiday. Like I didn't think anything of it. I honestly thought I was gonna hate this place, because online all you see is like this flashy lifestyle in Dubai. And honestly, if you live here, you know it's not like that at all, okay? Like it's who you surround yourself with. Yes, of course there's the flashy side of Dubai, and yes, it's a wealthy city and everything else, but my life in terms of how I live it and the people I surround myself with has not changed from back home at all. But there is more opportunities. You meet different people, you have different conversations, and like I feel like here the mindset of wanting other people to do well is really high, which is really nice to be surrounded by, you know. So But yeah, funny story that I was telling. It's not really a funny story, but when I first came to Dubai for the 6 weeks, I didn't touch a sip of alcohol. And I feel like that can speak a lot of volume when you're on holiday and you don't even feel the need to, like, I was going out, I was still having fun, and I didn't feel the need to drink. And the reason I love that is because it was so normalized here. Nobody on a night out, like on a night out here, goes to me, like, if they live here. People that are on holidays are a little bit different, but if they live here, they're like, never question why you're not drinking or anything like that. And it's because it's so normalized here, and people are here for the social aspect, they're here for the opportunities, they're here to just enjoy themselves without obviously the alcohol side of things involved. So obviously the second time I came back around, I couldn't drink, I couldn't even eat out, I couldn't be social from that aspect, and nobody bat an eyelid on it. Everyone was so supportive. Like, I was still being invited to go places, and like my friends and like people that I was meeting were always like going out of the way, like, oh, take your meal prep, like, we'll help you do this, let's go here. It's not a food activity, you know. And it just made me realize how different people were here, and like how understanding they were of what you were trying to achieve and like what your goals were. And that is probably what made me fall in love with it. It's just like the environment is so supportive, and obviously it's the land of opportunity. And I have been running my own business since I was 19, so freaking hell, 7 years now, just about 7 years. And I've never sort of had that experience until like a few years ago, where I felt like I could lean on other people in terms of business and sort of like learn a lot. And yeah, it's done wonders for me in terms of that. And I always said my whole life, I will settle somewhere that is next to water and that has the sun. I am not a rain baby. I can't do it. Like, as much as I love going home to the UK obviously and just visiting family, I never see myself living there long term. And anybody that knows me will know that. I am just not made for that climate. I'm not that person. So that's how I ended up in Dubai. Now, is it a super long term thing for me? I don't know. It all depends how the next couple of years sort of pan out. But for the time being, I've got my little apartment, I'm settled, I'm happy, got a cat, like very content with my life, which I'm super grateful to say. So that's how I ended up here. And obviously from a business perspective, it just makes a lot more sense to register your business here. So it just made, everything was aligning for me to essentially end up here essentially. So yeah, love it. Very happy. Is your coaching personalized or just a group chat? Personalized. Everything in my coaching program is personalized. It's all one-to-one coaching, okay? I don't do like group training or nothing like that because it doesn't align with my values. It's not something I believe in. It's not something that will stick long term. And yeah, so I don't do that sort of thing. All of my clients work one-to-one with myself, or obviously Emma, who's on our team as well. I like to be involved in people's journeys. I like to see their personal growth, their personal confidence. And yeah, I don't believe in group training. You don't learn as much. You don't benefit from it as much. It's not as sustainable. It's not tailored to you. And yeah, we all have our individual struggles. We all have our individual goals that we need to be working towards. So yeah, always one-to-one with me. Somebody had put in a deficit. I'm assuming they're saying like they're in a deficit but not losing any weight at all. Okay. You're not going to like what I'm about to say, but you're not in a deficit. Like, you're not in a deficit. If you're in a deficit, you will be losing weight, okay? Unless there's something underlying going on, like in terms of medical, hormones, anything like that, then yes, that's a different topic of conversation. But with that all aside, let's say you're a healthy woman, you know, let's say you're a healthy woman, everything is running smoothly, your cycles are regular, etc. You are not in a deficit if you're not seeing fat loss, okay? And there could be a number of reasons for this. One, you're maybe not tracking correctly, which is one of the most common things I see when people like come onto the team with us. They're tracking their calories, but they're not weighing everything out. They're not tracking their nibbles. They're not tracking their sauces, milks, oils, anything like that used in cooking. They're not tracking their weekends, and they're taking themselves out of the deficit. The second thing is the calories that you calculated for yourself to be in a deficit, are they actually correct? Because you might be like doing a calculator online and saying, you know, I don't know, 1900 is a deficit for you, but it's not. And you're eating 1900 and not seeing results. That's because you're not eating the actual right amounts for what you need. Another aspect is, you know, what's your day-to-day routine like? What's your schedule like? All of that has a part to play in it as well. Stress management, super important. Sleep recovery will obviously stall your fat loss progress as well. So I will say if you're not seeing fat loss, you are not in a deficit, or you're not sticking to it long enough to actually see that progress, okay? Because it's not going to happen on a week-to-week basis. And another factor that I will mention is like, what are you using to actually measure your progress? Are you just basing it off the scales? Because as a woman, you simply shouldn't, okay? We go up and down on the scales so much due to hormones, due to digestion, any other factors that have a part to play in it. Take your measurements, take your photos, dress sizes, that's where you want to see the progress, okay? And if you are stuck on this, obviously my DMs are always open, so don't be afraid to shoot me a message. Is there any supplements you recommend? So supplements, one thing I want to say about supplements is supplements are a supplement to your diet, okay? They are not a necessity, and they're going to look different for everybody. So like in terms of like vitamins, minerals, anything like that, it's going to be person dependent, depending on like maybe if you have deficiencies in something, for example, or I don't know, like if you follow a certain type of diet, like you have dietary preferences in terms of like being vegan, vegetarian, there's different sort of supplements that I would recommend in that instance. But in terms of like your general sort of creatine, protein, BCAAs and things like that. So protein is a good supplement to implement if you're struggling to get your protein in, okay? So you all have a protein target to hit every single day. If you're struggling to hit that protein target through food and you're trying to get it in and you're just not getting it in, then a supplement is a great way to bump that in there, okay? And in terms of what I recommend, depends again on preference. So you obviously, if you have any dairy intolerances, if you are vegan, anything like that, then vegan protein is probably your best choice, as there's no milk, there's no eggs, nothing like that. No eggs, what am I talking about? As there's no milk or anything like that in it. Obviously, no protein coming from meat sources either. So that's probably the best option for you. Now, is it going to taste the best? No, vegan protein just doesn't slap, okay? The second one is beef isolate. That's the one I usually use personally myself. It's the nicest one. People get put off by the word beef in it. It doesn't taste like beef. It usually tastes like diluting juice of some sort. That's the one that if I am using a supplement, that's the one I always have, because it just blends in with water. It's literally like having juice. It doesn't have any thick consistency, and it doesn't really have any side effects, especially with an upset tummy, which you can get from protein shakes, okay? And then the other one is whey protein, which is the most popular type of protein out there. If you're dairy intolerant, do not touch whey, okay? Whey is milk. That's what it is. So you will have a reaction to this. As well as that, if you are like me, so I technically have a dairy intolerance. I don't really follow it, but I don't have massive reactions to it, okay? It's just certain foods. Like, for example, I can sit down and eat, like, I don't know, 300 grams of Greek yogurt or a load of cheese. Or like if I have a pizza with a load of cheese on it or something, I will feel bloated. Maybe my tummy will be a little bit sore afterwards. But in general, I don't react too badly to it. But I just don't put myself in those situations. Like, I don't take cow's milk. I always have almond milk instead. That's the alternative I always go for. But with that side of things, so whey protein is really good if you are milking it. Whey protein is really good if maybe you're mixing it into smoothies. I always used to make my oats and add like a whey paste on top. For things like that, for bacon, it's quite nice. However, to drink it as a shake, honestly, is disgusting. That's all I have to say. Some people like it, but like a lot of the time, like I used to drink them all the time too, and I just put myself off them altogether. They're just not the nicest to drink. So when it comes to whey, I usually recommend that for mixing into stuff, because with the beef isolate, you can't really do that, okay? So beef isolate for drinking, whey for mixing into stuff. You can obviously have a shake if you want, but it's just nicer when it's mixed in with different things like your oats and stuff like that, so you don't feel it or you don't notice it as much, but you're still getting your protein in. And then obviously the vegan options is your other choice as well. It's 11:11, guys. What's your top tips for a beginner starting out? Okay, so this can go a lot of routes actually. Like, do you mean like as a beginner starting out working out, going to the gym, dieting, whatever the case might be? So a couple of things that I would say is ask for help and do your research, okay? Don't see one person post a transformation. They've dropped a ridiculous amount of weight in the space of 6 to 8 weeks, and you think, okay, I need to do what they're doing. Everybody is different. What works for them might not work for you. And also a lot of these short-term transformations are super restrictive, okay? So on that note, if you are asking for help, if you're reaching out to a coach, you can obviously reach out to me, self-promo. But if you're not reaching out, like say if you choose to reach out to somebody and basing coaching solely off price is probably a red flag. Cheaper does not mean better, okay? When it comes to paying, you're paying for a service, and probably if they're really, really cheap, it might seem the most appealing to you. It's cheapest, you've never done it before, so I'm just going to go for that. But it will end up ruining your relationship with food and exercise if the coach isn't actually qualified in knowing what they're doing and they're just trying to get the before and after photos off you, okay? So that's the first thing. If you are asking for help or reaching out to somebody, which I highly recommend for you starting off, because you want to learn everything from dead dot the right way, okay? Reach out to somebody that you actually trust and that you have heard referrals from other people, how they handle things. Do they focus on mindset? Do they focus on all the habits, routines, everything else is super important, right? And the reason I said that is because there's so many red flags in the industry now and people want quick results, but quick results also mean you undo your results super, super quickly and you will be stuck in this vicious cycle for a long period of time afterwards. So that's the first thing I would say, is do your research. Even if it is your own research, it does not matter. Do your research, whether you're investing in something or you're just planning to do some workouts or whatever on your own, your diet, make sure you're doing it properly. Don't cut down to 1200 calories, okay? Please, for the love of God, do not do that. Don't try to go to the absolute extremes just to see results as quickly as possible. It's not gonna work. So do your research, gain knowledge, ask for help, and don't be afraid to do so. Even if you're not signing up with a coach, always reach out to somebody that you do trust and you trust, you know, based off their Instagram or whatever the case is, however you know them. The second thing is start slow, okay? Don't go into it expecting everything to run smoothly, okay? Like I said at the start, like I train 5 days a week because I've been doing it for a long time and because I have the time to do so. If you're just starting off, train twice a week. 2-3 times a week max, that's all you need to do. If you are not fully confident to go into the gym, go back and watch my last video. Self-plug again. If you're not confident to go to the gym, go and do some home workouts, okay? Have a plan, have structure, start with body weight, work your way up from there. If you are going into the gym, go into the gym with a plan. Even if you do write it out yourself, like have structure so you know exactly what you're doing. Focus on progressing, focus on tracking your lifts, okay? You want to be getting stronger, you want to be moving forward, but start slow. You will be sore when you first start off. You're not gonna enjoy it. It will feel like a chore until you get into that rhythm and build those habits and routines in place. But that would be my best bit of advice, is do your research, gain some knowledge, ask for help, and go into everything with a plan, sort of, so that you feel like you know what you're doing, and start slow. Don't throw yourself into the deep end of you're gonna be doing 12,000 steps every single day, 5 workouts a week, and eating as little as possible, because you're going to give up in 3 weeks and be back to square one and more than likely put yourself off it. Start with 2 or 3 sessions a week. Calculate your maintenance calories. If you want to lose fat loss, take yourself about 200 calories below that. If you want to see muscle gain, take yourself 200 calories above that. And then sort of focus from that perspective, making sure that you are aiming for at least 120 to 150 grams of protein daily, depending on your body weight. And just focus on those basics, okay? Really, really just focus on what actually needs to be done from that side of things. Don't throw yourself deep in. And then focus on habits like improving your sleep, improving your stress levels, and track your progress. How are you going to know if you're progressing or if things are improving if you're not tracking it? So you want to track everything, okay? Your weight, your measurements, take photos of yourself to get some progress pictures, try on different dress sizes, set yourself targets for goals as to when you want to get there, draw yourself roadmaps out. And of course, again, if you're struggling with any of that, don't be afraid to shoot me a message and I can help you put that side of things together or give you a little bit further guidance depending on you personally. So we have Dom in here as well. Why do you and Dom click so much? I love how she's asking that question. So me and Dom, for anybody that doesn't know, like our friendship actually came out of the absolute blue. Very random. We met once, didn't even speak, added each other on Instagram. Next thing I was living with her. That's literally how it went, and now we're inseparable. So yeah, and I think the reason that me and Dom like get on really, really well is because we're polar opposites, but very much the same people. So we have the same values, we sort of have the same expectations, especially when it comes to friendships and that sort of thing. Like we are very much so in line from that perspective, and I feel like me and her came into each other's life at the time that we both most needed it. Like I remember Dom telling me she always wanted a friend that was like doing online coaching or was able to sort of get up and travel and stuff like that, and I just popped into her life, and that's exactly what we did. We went to Morocco in 2024 as well. Like we did so many different things. I was in Marbella. Freaking hell, I really did travel a lot that year, but yeah, so I know, like, from her side of things, that she probably needed me from that perspective, and I definitely needed her to have somebody that's on the same wavelength, and there was somebody that was going to push me out of my comfort zone at that time, which she did. Like, if it wasn't for Dom, I would have never came to Dubai the first time, and now I live here, you know. So I'm very, very grateful for our friendship. And yeah, we're polar opposites. For anybody that knows us, we are like the complete polar opposite when it comes to certain things, but we are basically the same person at the same time. Get on really well. There's never any issues with us. We respect each other. I have a lot of trust in that girl, so it's nice. It's very, very nice to have her. And if anybody sees one of us out without the other, like, not even out, if I go to a gym and Dom's not there, somebody will come up and go, where's your sidekick? Where's Dom? Like, we are literally together 24/7. She's currently getting her hair done, hence why I'm here by myself. But yeah, so that stands for that question. And to finish it off on a very lighthearted one, what's your favorite snack? If you know me, you know me. Biscoff all the time. Just give me Biscoff and I'm going to be a happy girl. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Yeah, Biscoff is my biggest weakness. Biscoff. Yeah, I was trying to think of something else. No, just give me Biscoff. I do like a little bit of routine though. So like with my cup of tea, I always have Oreos. So I love my Oreos as well, but I wouldn't have them without my cup of tea. So it's just like an association thing. But yeah, there you go. I'm going to wrap that up here. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Something a little bit different, a little bit more of a get to know me. And of course, if you have any questions, shoot them in the comments below and I can do another video in a little bit for this as well. Or if you find value in this, of course, I hope this has been helpful. So as always, like, subscribe, comment, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye.